What is up, guys? This is Gregarious bringing you another video, and I'm so glad to be back from my vacation. I've had a blast in Japan. I don't think I actually mentioned where I was, but I was in Japan, in Tokyo, and it was really fun. I'm so glad to be back. And this time around, we're gonna be bringing you, or I am going to be bringing you, a Arcane PvP guide for 7.1.5. And I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get right into it. Okay guys, so for the talents we're gonna be I've tried a lot of different builds as Arcane now in 7.1.5, and I found that this build that I'm showing you right now is the most efficient one for overall PvP. It works in world PvP, BGs, arenas, any situation. This is my go-to build for anything, which is Amplification, Shimmer, Enchantress Flow, Charged Up, Chrono Shift, Erosion, and Arcane Orb. And the thing that I'm loving the most with this patch right now is that Arcane Orb is buffed by a huge amount. It does so much damage. It's insane. In World PvP I've crit for like 600-700k with it, if not even more. It's just ridiculous how good it is. And for other builds, the talents that I would switch for situations, that would be from Arcane Orb to Overpowered, to be able to do one shots, some like more heavy bursts. But the problem with Overpowered for me is that you rely so much on that arcane power not being dispelled, or you're not being stunned, you're not being silenced, anything. They're running line out of sight from you. You can't attack them. And as I've heard in a YouTube comment earlier, that Resonance is really fun, and it is a really fun talent to use for BGs and for like spread damage. So much AoE, like in Temple of Kotmugu, the BG where you have the orbs, you do more damage on the targets who have the orbs, or things like that. The problem that I have with Resonance is that once you use your Arcane Barrage, all your damage is gone temporarily, unless you have Arcane Orb ready. But the thing is, like, if you start a fight, let's say you start a fight with Arcane Orb here, and you get your Arcane Orbs, or Arcane Charges, and then you Arcane Barrage. Okay, I crit for 750k, but okay, what now? I gotta stand and cast just regular Arcane Blasts to stack up my damage again. And that's not what you want when you have full mana. But it is a fun spec, but I just don't rate it myself. Like, you guys might love it and think I'm crazy for saying this, but this is my opinion, and this is how I'm feeling is the most efficient way. And my efficient way of doing things when I've been playing arenas and BGs and world PvP is to use Charged Up. Because when you have Charged Up, you can use all your damage, and when you're low on mana, you can Arcane Barrage to get rid of your stacks. And then when you are still low on mana, you can use Charged Up again and use another Arcane Barrage to finish off the target if they're low. Ring of Frost, it's really handy when you are playing against some compositions in 3 vs 3, I would say. I wouldn't use Ring of Frost in 2 vs 2. Really, maybe if I'm playing with a rogue and I'm against a Resto Druid, because let's say the rogue has a 5 combo point ready, he runs up to the Resto Druid and kidney shots him, but he's in a bear form, travel form, or anything like that. Then I can't polymorph off that kidney shot, then I can Ring of Frost off it though. I don't really rate Ice Ward that much because I don't know, I don't like it at all. I'd rather have one Frost Nova. That's enough for me, at least. And yeah, that is pretty much it for these talents. So let's move on to the honor talents. The honor talents are pretty much the same as the different patch, or as 7.1, because they removed the time anomaly fix. At first, when the change was about to happen for the patch, it was gonna be 50% random chance to get 4 stacks of arcane charges, but they removed it and it's still just 5%, so I don't rate that talent at all. You can play with this talent if you choose to play with Overpowered, because that can really be efficient if you're lucky, but that's RNG based like crazy. That's kind of like playing Outlaw Rogue with having to roll your buffs correctly. But yeah, I'm running the Gladiator's Medallion, Mind Quickness, Prismatic Cloak, sometimes against double melee teams in threes, or just double melees or a melee DPS in 2 vs 2. Then I just run Netherwind Armor. I never run Burning Determination. Temporal Shield is the best talent to go for overall, but you can use this dampened magic against like Affliction Warlock Shadow Priest teams, something like that. Anything with an Affliction Warlock Boom that can work against that. Concentrated Power, no, not really. I'm sticking with the Torment of the Weak, especially if you're playing with a Rogue. Like Mage Rogue teams are so strong right now. It's unbelievable. If you're playing a Rogue or a Mage and you haven't tried it yet, I definitely recommend it. It's so much fun. And then Mass Invis for your last talent. No switching there. Don't even play with these two. Just don't even read them. Don't look at them. They're bad compared to Mass Invis. This is the best talent in the game. Like literally, you can cast your spells in stealth without anyone being able to interrupt you. That is mental. That is so insane. But you gotta be careful still. You can't use this ability when you got a dot on you, because that will put you in a bit of a tricky spot. Just saying. But that has been it for the talents, guys. So let's move on to the next part of the video. Now it's time for the funniest part of the video, the burst. How to burst your target in the most efficient way. And this is the talent build I'm gonna be running to show this off. And since I'm not in PvP combat, I can't do it, but I would use mass invisibility, so I'm in stealth while I'm doing this. And I would start off with Mark of Luneth, and then I'm gonna use Charged Up, Arcane Power, Arcane Orb, and spam Arcane Blast and use Presence of Mind into it as well. Most of the times in arenas, you won't be allowed to stand and cast like this. You won't be able to stand and just spam Arcane Blast. So what it's gonna be, most likely, if you're being trained at the same time, like people are attacking you, then it's gonna look something like this. Arcane, not Arcane, sorry, Mark of Luneth, Charged Up, Arcane Power, Arcane Orb, Presence of Mind, double Arcane Blast, and Arcane Barrage. That's the most damage you're gonna be able to do. So let's see, let's take a look here. So here in World PvP, that combo did for me about, what is this, 5,408,027 damage. So unless they have some kind of counter against that, they are not gonna live. They aren't. It's just no way. But of course, in BGs and arenas, the gear is gonna be scaled down, or my stats are being scaled down, so I'm not doing this much damage in BGs or arenas. But still, this is a lot of damage to take in. And this is just the way to burst, like, that's using everything you have, that's your whole kit. But yeah, guys, that is basically how you use everything you have to just one-shot someone, basically. That's what it is. But still, Arcane is very strong right now. I really like it, and we're gonna move on to the pros and cons, what has been changing since 7.1. Okay guys, so a quick overview about the pros for the Arcane Mage. What has changed for the better for the Arcane Mages. And the main things that I felt was the best was that amplification was implanted. You get more damage with arcane missiles per arcane charge by 12%, which is huge. You do so much damage with 4 arcane charges and doing arcane missiles. They implanted a fun talent, Chrono Shift, where you're allowed to steal an opponent's speed and give yourself speed. It's really fun. And of course, the overpowered talent, giving Arcane Power a run up for its name, really. Overpowered before was really dull. It was like, extend your arcane missiles, extend arcane power by 2 seconds, la la la. But it's like, that's so bad. That's not overpowered. This is what's overpowered. giving you increased damage by 60% and reduces mana cost by 60%. You can spam so many arcane blasts when this is up without losing much mana. And of course, my favorite change in the whole patch for the better, arcane orb damage. It was buffed by like, I can't even remember what percentage it was, but it was like 450, 500% increased damage. Before I was like, 28,000. Oh, I was like, are you trying to like pat the guy to death with that thing? It's like you only use it because you get arcane charges. That's all you used it for before. Now you actually use it to finish off a target. You can just burst with it. You can do so much with it. You can do a lot of AoE damage as well in BGs with it. And the buff they gave Arcane Barrage, I feel like I'm doing so much more damage now with Arcane Barrage, especially when I have 4 charges. I crit for ridiculous amounts of numbers, especially if I play with Resonance in BGs. Let's move on to the cons of the Arcane Mage changes. Alright, so for the cons of Arcane Mage in 7.1.5, surprisingly, there's only one thing that I've found is negative about it. And that is basically the removal of ice flows, where you are not allowed to run and cast polymorphs or arcane blasts or Mark of Luneth or evocation anymore. So now you're more stationary now than you were before, but you still have the same amount of mobility really, if not even more, with chrono shift available, so you can give yourself a speed up and run. But the thing is, you can't run and cast anymore. But I can imagine that would be pretty, maybe a little OP actually, if you could run and cast with the 50% move speed. So basically now you gotta be more careful with your evocation especially. I found that you really need to get to a safe distance or invis away, and evocation, like let's say this is my target, I frost nova him and I run away behind a wall so he can't get to me, and then I use evocation, for example. But that's the only thing that I found negative about this patch. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this 7.1.5 Arcane PvP guide, and leave me a comment on what you thought about the video. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a dislike if you didn't. But if you do leave a dislike, please let me know what was wrong with the video so I can try to improve at least. And I'm so glad to be back to making videos again, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Gregarious is out.